Okay.
So if you're joining us now for Tech Tuesday, 2 p.m. with Cathy, Inman, my name is E.R. Wolf, one of the co-founders here at Elify. I want to thank you guys for joining this. If you're watching this on the live stream, or if you are watching this in replay, we're going to encourage you to also join the Zooms and join the conversation. So with that being said, if you've been joining us on this journey, you know last week's theme was obsession. We went from ambition to obsession. This week, we're back on will, skill, and refill, but really with a focused effort. And I think this is really important, Cathy, just my 2 cents for Tech Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Central, is part of getting from where you are to where you want to be isn't just having a plan, it's making sure that you have the right skills, knowledge, and tools to execute on that plan. And you have to have a focused effort in working on developing that knowledge, that skill, and the use of the tools. And that's exactly what we're talking about doing every single Tech Tuesday. It's what we did 2 weeks ago with 101 training on Wednesday and the 102 training last Wednesday. And we're going to have a desktop builder training this Wednesday. This is all about understanding, one, we have an amazing tool at our disposal, but two, we need the knowledge and the skill of how to use that tool properly if we're going to get the biggest benefit out of it. So, I think that's really what we can dive into on today's Tech Tuesday, is if we put a focused effort towards acquiring, one, the knowledge. What all can Shuffle and Tap do for you? And once you understand that, how can you broaden your vision and your view to think about all the different applications? Cathy, you and I talk so many times about, we're always amazed at how people are leveraging the technology. And it's like, oh, somebody else who's in this industry doing this thing is using it in a whole new way. It's still a landing page, right? It's still relationship management, but they're developing landing pages for all different types of use. And we have to understand and know first what capability this thing has so we can explore those uses. And then the most important, the critical element, is the skill. You've got to have the skill to use the tool. You got to have the skill to use the tool in order to get the desired outcome. And we always kick off our sort of, if I'm building content and creating an online presence, before I even pick up my mouse or my keyboard, I want to have a plan in place, a vision of the landing page I want to accomplish. But then I need to have the skills so that when I build that page, it ends up resulting in what I originally envisioned. So I'm going to get off my little soapbox here, Cathy. Go ahead.
Hey, no, I mean, that's it. I remember you guys were talking about this the other day, and I was just like the whole time biting my tongue going like, how do you think I learned Shuffle? I mean, I literally just sat there and pushed buttons and figured it out, right? The nice thing is now, here we are years later, and we have this great community of people that come on and go like, well, here's how I'm doing it. Here's what I've done with it. And here's how I'm using it. Here's, let me give you some ideas. And so that to me is really the difference, is now we all do it together. So.
Well, and this process is a game changer for anything you want to acquire the knowledge and the skills to implement. I'm going to give you a personal hands-on experience here. I, back in high school, had never played football in my life. Didn't know the game, didn't know anything. And I was a basketball player and ended up stopping basketball. And the football coach approached me and said, hey, you could be a football player. And from the time he told me that till the time I got a Division I scholarship, to play football was only about 2.5 years. What the point of that is I had to acquire the knowledge and the skills to implement that role, play that position, play that game, etc., in order to achieve that scholarship to go to the University of Wyoming. So the same thing is applicable here, guys. If you have Shuffle, if you've bought Tap, but you don't have the knowledge and the skills to put it into action, it's like having a fancy car just sitting there. Guys, we want to learn how to open the door. We want to learn how to sit in the car. We want to put the key in the ignition, turn it on. Yeah, and as Anna's saying, you got to learn which pedal is the go pedal and make it go. Then it can take you wherever you want it to go, and that's the important part. So I would say as a reminder, if you're watching this, we're going to talk some different stuff today, but hands down, go back and watch 101, 102. Join us for Wednesday's full-on desktop training. Go back into the YouTube and watch stuff. My only recommendation, do it, sort by the date of the post so that you can watch the most recent stuff in there. We're still cleaning up some of the YouTube on old dated stuff and detect changes, but you want to stay on top of that.
Well, then here's a whole nother, like Anna's talking about in chat. We got a whole nother aspect of this, right? Anna's effort of showing Shuffle to other people and helping other entrepreneurs and business owners use Shuffle has now waterfalled into having new people in Shuffle that she didn't even know about. I remember that feeling. I remember like the first time I started to see that and go like, oh, I don't know. There's somebody on here I don't know. And it's super fun because then you can reach out to them, right?
Yeah. And it's paying for itself, and there's more people coming on board, and we got calls set up this week. Could lead to thousands.
Got down for tomorrow, Anna. So I'm looking forward to that one. And again, it's a process, right? And like with anything,
But it
even
took a
with the
long
learning.
time to get here.
Yep.
I was on a learning curve, and I was doing it very part-time, but I believe in leverage, and I believe in residual income, and I believe in having fun.
And that's all here in Elify, and that's what I love. Guys, slow and steady wins the race, right? This isn't a sprint, this is a marathon, and we get to take it at our own pace. So the question you need to ask yourself is, what pace do you want to move at? And if you want to acquire the knowledge and the skills to learn these tools, you could start out by just saying, look, I need to first learn how to introduce myself in a whole new way. Right? I want to build a business card. There's lots of great business templates or business card templates on there. All of the standard templates are great places to get started. And I always think this, there are people who are running, right? And there's a lot of us on this call who are running. We've learned, or we've gotten over that learning curve, and now we're running. We're just running in the directions that we choose to pursue. And then there are people who are just starting out, the getting started type. And we know continually, Anna, to what you just said, it's like, oh, a pleasant surprise to have somebody new come into the network. And we want to welcome them, and we want to support them, and we want to make sure that they can get to and follow along with the journey we've already been on, right? And a lot of the times they're looking for guides to help them get there, get started, but it's all about getting started. I think if we can work with people to get over that first force of friction to get started, right? Again, you just bought this amazing new car off the lot and it's sitting in the driveway. You got to get in there and get started.
That was like when I turned 16 and my dad bought me a stick shift. He bought me. I was like, what am I didn't learn. I don't know how to drive that. But you better believe I learned how to drive that car quickly.
Exactly.
Hey, Cathy.
Yeah, if your dad was anything like mine, Cathy, he'd take you up onto a hill with the stop sign at the top, and he'd be like, okay, guys, put it in first gear. We're going to learn how to drive a stick shift. And then you'd see that car coming up behind you, getting a little close. You're like,
I don't live in Denver. Yeah, I don't live in Denver, though. There's not that many hills here.
It's more flat out there. We're in the mountains.
You have to share the vision. You have to share the vision with people because they don't actually see it. I had one gal, her credit card expired. She had to put in new information, and she's like, I'm not making any money on this. And I said, I see your posts on Facebook all the time. You're not using your digital business card.
Yeah.
Let's sit down and figure out how to use this. Well, in the process, she does space events where at night you go out in telescopes and they show you all the different stars in space and stuff. And I said, now start sending those to companies that sell that equipment and invite them to come out and update your events every week.
Yep.
And they'll see how active you are. They'll come out and share their telescopes because they'll get more clients. And she was like,
Anna, you are so right. It's like watching this aha moment happen for people. Cathy, you and I used to talk about it where it just all of a sudden for anybody, it just clicks. You know what I mean?
Brainstorm. That 10-minute brainstorm with a new person, right? It's there. I know everybody jumps in. They're like, oh, I need training. I need training. I need training. And I get that. Everybody needs to know how to do the things. But I think that 10-minute brainstorm with a new person is almost more important than how to do it, because if you get the idea of what you're going to be able to do with Shuffle, then you're going to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
If you never figure out what it is, right, Anna, if you don't get the aha moment, then you don't even understand why you're learning it.
Yeah, and you just do. You have to ask them, what do you want to get from your business card?
Mm-hmm.
I always show them the standard, the one you get for free. And then I send them one of mine, and this is what you get with the upgrade.
Yep.
And click all the buttons and stuff. And that's when the lights start going on. Can I do this with mine? Yeah.
Well, and all the questions that we get, right? How do I make this do this? Or can I make that do that? Like, they're like, you're kidding, this does all that, or and you're like, yeah.
Website is what I heard.
Well,
I don't need a website. That's up to you.
Up to you.
Cathy, I would say it's the most important to have that 10-minute conversation, especially if you're an affiliate out there talking to people, to have a 10-minute conversation to see what their goals are is going to give you the direction to train and educate on, or provide them with direction to get that training and that education. We all know Shuffle does a ton of stuff, right? Tap does a ton of stuff. You need to figure out what the goal is first, and then you can realize now I can focus, because we talked about focused effort. You can either get in and learn everything under the sun. And I'll tell you what, Cathy, you and I, there's still days where I'm like, it does that, or, oh, we added a new functionality and I'm discovering something new. Guys, I've been doing this for 10 years. You know what I mean? So you want to eat the elephant one bite at a time when you're talking about knowledge and skill on how to use the technology. It's easier to take those bites if what you're learning is going to lead to the goal of what you're trying to accomplish. So if you sit there and you say, hey, you know what, I'm really looking for a way to generate leads. Great, then my training is going to focus on getting a card up with the right information on it. What would you want on your card? And making sure that it's a campaign with a lead capture form. Then the end result is exactly what you had in mind. And while we're going down that process, we're going to discover other uses and other things that will, give us what are the second things we're going to start to learn on. If you're capturing leads, you might want to talk about the relationship loop and the CRM, or exporting and importing contacts. So all of that can really inform the path. And I think that's an exercise that we can all do for ourselves as well. We have to continually, we said will, skill, and refill. And we've been talking about the skill element, and the will is what you want to accomplish. But the refill is continually practicing that over and over and over again, because as many of you know who've been around the block for a while with Elify, the technology is going to improve and evolve over time. We just had a big maintenance push. Things are starting to speed up. Now we're going to be able to drop these little updates that are coming. I've got an update I'll tell everybody about today with it, which is ability to do annual billing. We'll announce it more on Friday with the founders, but where you can save even more if you want to pay for a year up front. Also, as an affiliate, if you want to refer, now you have a chance to 10x your income on a referral on an annual basis versus a monthly basis. So there's more flexibility there as this thing grows and evolves.
See, I wasn't going to say anything at all. Nothing. It was locked.
It's live in there now, so people are going to stumble upon it. So I thought I might as well let the cat out of the bag, but we'll talk about it more on Friday with the founders.
Yeah, but that's the thing too, right? When you talk about, whether or not the car is running, or you learn how the things work, or how anything, it doesn't matter, right? Because things are going to keep evolving. We don't talk about it as much, but I and ER are constantly in the background. There's things that are happening, but like I said, the big push was all about the future of Elify and things that need to come together. Like ER texted me over the weekend. He's like, it's like a heart transplant. He was like, we needed this done so that this bridge, is there in place for the next iteration and what's coming with Shuffle. And so that alone is exciting.
It's mental growth, and it's a uncomfortable position to be in, because you've got to make the changes.
Got to make the changes, and we're going to keep up with them. I promise you. Somebody did somebody have a question? I thought, oh, Ruben, did you have a question or say whatever you wanted to say?
Oh, no, just as you were talking about newbies, so I have 5 newbies right now that are in that scale. I'm thinking, well, why don't you design a card? Take the 101, put it in there, take the link to all of our daily meetings so that they have that information right there, so that there's no excuse. They got to pull the trigger.
I'm taking the 101. That's what's taking me a little bit longer, because again, the whole perfect thing.
Whatever resources we have, but
I want to chunk them out into pieces, right? So I don't want to overwhelm anybody, but I love the idea of going like, what is it that you need Shuffle for, right? Because I think everybody here even uses it for different reasons, different businesses. They use it different ways. I use it multiple ways. Many of us are multiple business owners.
Yep.
And again, it's the, the Swiss Army knife. It's like, what do you need? What do you need? What do you need?
Yeah, this lady that just joined us, she's a travel agent. And I said, what project are you working on now? She says, I'm working on an Alaskan package. I said, great. So why don't you go ahead and design a card on that promo, put all the information, photos in the back, and I taught her how to use a designer so she can have, videos of Alaska in the background. And I said, is there a link there that gives them insurance in case something goes wrong? Yes, I'm going to check on that. I said, but make sure that whatever link that you have on there, it goes back to you so that you can get paid. And she says, I'm going to check that out.
Yep. I mean,
I
you're
love it.
right on top of it, Ruben. This is the process, guys. This is not hard stuff. It just requires effort. It requires focused effort. So we just want to step through it one step at a time. We want to make sure at least everybody on this call should have a card worth sharing. Okay, whether that's a business card, whether that's a landing page, if you've been on this call for a while, you should have multiple cards worth sharing. There's a reason why everybody starts with 10 cards in their stack. And we've got a lot of people on this call that have 100 cards in their stack. It's the moment you have one use that the other uses start popping into your head. You know what I mean? And I think that's a big part of it. So if you're on this call and you don't have a card worth sharing, or you don't have multiple cards in your stack and you want to brainstorm as a group here, you've got a collaborative group of people in this community that want to support you. And likewise, if you've built a card and you want feedback on it, I'm going to encourage you, share that in the insiders group, right? Ask people, hey, this is my first card, or this is my card that I'm using for stargazing, right? Or this is the card that I'm using for travel or for the Alaskan adventure. Can you guys give me some feedback? Because I think the other piece that comes along with this, that we do not spend a ton of time talking about this within Shuffle, is how to correctly market, right? We can show you how to build a card, but you have to have the foresight to think about the visitor's journey on your card. I mean, we can speak to some of these things, but there are so many examples online of similar layouts. And the beauty of Shuffle is you can build any of those layouts or mirror any of those layouts when you acquire those skills on using the application to drag and drop in that desktop builder Cathy's going to go through tomorrow. If you find any web page layout on the internet that you like, theoretically with tomorrow night's training, you can turn around and verbatim create that layout. Now, obviously, copyright and all that other stuff, you're going to put in your images, you're going to put in your videos, you're going to put in your copy. But I think it's important for us, just like we said, you got to have the foresight to think of what is my end goal, all the way down. The more clear you can be in that vision, the more clear you're going to have the copy written that you cut and paste in, and what you want that visitor to see when they first come in. Is it a logo? Is it an image? Is it a video? Is it bullet points? Everything's going to be different based on your use of the card. And like I said, we don't cover a ton of that. I know enough to be dangerous, guys, right? But I'm not somebody out there selling marketing, you know what I mean? Selling marketing services, telling you what your ad copy should be, because you know your business better than I do. You know what your customers are looking for. You know what common questions they're asking. To Ruben's point, right? He's not necessarily in travel agency or a travel, but he knows that, look, in today's day and age, people are looking for an easy way to understand whether they can cancel their travel plans, whether they get a refund, whether they need travel insurance. They want to know about the trips or the packages they might be taking. When you sell what you sell, or market and promote what you market and promote, whether that's a brand, a product, or a service, you are the skilled guide that's leading that visitor on a journey. So you want to flush out all of those things. And when you decide what elements you want on your card, right? I want a video of the Alaskan helicopter tour, and I want a video of this telescope or the night sky in the background. Once you start to visualize that, you can then grab the elements and components and start to build that out and bring that vision to reality. And then what I love is the platform, it's not done. It's done is better than perfect. We're going to iterate on this over and over again. We might send it out and get feedback. Then we might come back and make some adjustments. You know, I remember doing some web marketing, and there was an old saying of a best practice. Okay, think of your favorite sports team right? And think of their colors. I'm in Colorado, so it's the Denver Broncos. It's orange and blue. You may like your sports team, but not everybody wants to see that branding. So we have to remember marketing is asking somebody out on a date, but branding is why they say yes. Keep that in mind, right? Marketing is what you ask somebody to ask them out on a date, if that's the analogy. Branding is why they say yes, right? So we want to think about the copy, the elements, the videos, and you don't have to feel like it's all things, right? Short and sweet is sometimes good. You could do endless scrolling. It's entirely up to you because the flexibility is there.
Okay, so I pulled something up while you were talking. So I know this came up this week in Insiders. And
Yep.
now I have it all set up, and I can show a very quick little demo, and then hopefully I can post this video this week and snip this little part out, because I know this gets asked all the time. So let me share my screen real quick. Talking about marketing, so people always ask, how do we do this? All right. So this is my GoDaddy. This is my personal GoDaddy account. I know y'all can get URLs wherever you want. I love GoDaddy. Their customer service is second to none when you do this stuff. I literally was on a phone call one time in my car on the way to a meeting, and I needed to hook a URL, and I called their customer service, and they hooked it up for me while I was driving. So,
Wow. Awesome.
so these are the domains I own in GoDaddy. One of them is CathyInman.com. If I click on that, and all I do is go over to manage my domain,
Yep.
and I go down and I want to, so this is when we want to do a redirect. We get this asked all the time, right?
Yep. I don't
So-
like the Elify link. I'd like to have it say Cathy Inman, and I'd like it to point to my Elify shuffle card.
Yep. So you manage your DNS. This is what you're
Yep.
looking for. Or if you call, if it's a different company and you call them, say, do you offer forwarding services? Can I forward, my URL to something else? So if I go to my DNS and I scroll down here to forwarding,
Mhm.
what I do is I just put in my Elify card. So in this case, I would have my Cathy, what I call my CathyInman.com card.
Yep. And you can see the campaign right here, right? Cathy's being very strategic. She's got multiple campaign links on one card, and one of the campaigns is only exclusively going to be used for the redirect for CathyInman.com.
Yep. So that is the link that I would grab. And then I would come back over here, and that's what I would forward to. And you can see here, I can edit or delete it at any time. And then they always say, give it a few minutes. And then as soon as you pop it in there and hit save, now you click on CathyInman.com, it goes straight to my card.
And you
So-
all are welcome to do that. Or Cathy, if you want to type in Cathy Inman like you're doing, you guys will see now. You typed in the URL, whoop, goes straight to her shuffle card.
And my phone just dinged because somebody's looking at it. Somebody would be me, but I mean, it just makes it so fast and easy and professional at an event. Oh, you want my business card? Here, I can give it to you, or you can also go here and you can see a little bit about me.
Yep. And
So-
remember, there's always going to be different channels that people take. Their paths. These are paths that people are taking to come and view your card.
Mhm.
So one of those paths is typing in CathyInman.com. Another one of those paths could be scanning a QR code or being tapped with a tap on the mobile device, right? Or a Facebook post. All of those could all lead separately to the same card that Cathy uses to introduce herself. She's just doing it in different paths and being able to measure the different paths. And that's pretty valuable. Cathy, I'm going to throw a little bit of curveball out there. I don't know if this is doable, but on the domain forwarding, can you create either a subdomain or a domain page and forward that to a shuffle card? Meaning CathyInman.com/about-me, and then link that to a shuffle card. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there because that would even provide additional flexibility for anybody doing this. The primary domain forwarding is something I've seen done a lot. And I would recommend, if you're trying to mask that longer elify.com URL, you can use that domain forwarding to accomplish that.
The answer is yes.
Is it yes, Mike? I know you've done a lot with the domain forwarding. So even specialized page links, you can most likely do it. I know I see one called subdomains, Cathy. That's something like aboutme.cathyyinman.com. Which would also work on sending that to the forwarding address of any card. So theoretically, on a place like GoDaddy or any other type of registrar where you might be buying a domain name, you could forward multiple links to your shuffle card, allowing you some customization of what the person is seeing. And, again, if Cathy's texting somebody, she has a choice. She could text them the campaign link or the card, or she could just text them her CathyInman.com. And then they see it come in. And again, it's what type of impression, what type of experience am I creating for the recipient? This is what it's all about, guys, right? It's about the experience that we create for people when we interact with them, because that's going to allow them, and I hate to say it, everybody judges everybody else, right? To judge you on that. And I will tell you what, if you're doing what Cathy's doing, right, it's CathyInman.com, it's going to an Elify card, she's got her stuff together, it's linking to different pages, it's capturing leads. All of a sudden, her credibility from a technology perspective goes up immensely because she's on top of it. The experience goes up. That person is sitting there going, wow, how can I get a little bit of what Cathy has, because she's got it all together.
Well, it's just so easy. Like for me, it's really a Zoom meeting, right? And a Zoom meeting, that's just the fastest, cleanest, easiest way to put some information out there, or at a networking event, right? If you don't have a chance to meet somebody, or you have a 30-second commercial, you can just say, to find out more about me, CathyInman.com. I'll have to pick Mike's brain on this whole subdomain thing, because I've never played with that. I didn't even know you could do that. So
something potentially as an advanced strategy that we could dig into in the future, Cathy. I really love the primary domain, but I know like other people think about CathyInman.com/aboutme or aboutme.CathyInman.com. And I think this rings really true, right? It's easier to tell somebody or type in that URL than it would be for me to stand up. And if you guys are looking in the chat and you see my card link, say, go to app.elify/VBC/GHKABDFA, nobody's going to sit there, write that down or type that in. That's why if I was at an event, I'd be giving a QR code to that link or using the domain forwarding. Guys, this is all strategy that's going to help you deliver your card to your audience, whether that's multiple people or an individual.
absolutely. And it's also just fun to own your own, own your name on the web.
Right.
Because I can change that to be whatever I want it to be, right? That Elify card does not have to stay with what it says now. If I change and do something else, it will change with me.
That's
so if somebody goes to find me in the future, then they see what I'm up to now.
Exactly.
That's another thing. See, hold please. We should talk about tomorrow night not tomorrow night. So I am adding another Wednesday. Did I tell you that, ER?
No, but thank you,
Every
Cathy. And thanks for
time.
making that available to everybody.
Every time we do something, we think of other things we haven't trained on yet.
Yeah.
Save to desktop. Save to, what's it called? Save to your home screen.
Yep.
That one to me is also so important for so many people that can use that option. I know Brittany and I think she had to jump off, but Brittany and I talked about that this week.
Well, and if you've ever seen Ruben, one of your backgrounds is your home screen with all of those icons, guys. There's the ability to have your recipient put pretty much your face that looks like an app on their home screen, just like you can see with Ruben, so that they can quickly get back to you. Where is this applicable? Maybe you're running a restaurant. You want people to book reservations or do things like that. Great. Here's the card for the restaurant. It's got all the call-in information for reservations and stuff like that, our loyalty program, etc. Go on ahead and save this to your home screen. Or maybe you're running like a salon, you know what I mean? And you're going to have somebody book their appointments here or come back and look for what you have going on for monthly specials. Save it to your home screen. Click on this at any time and it'll take you straight back to me.
Oh yeah, Brittany uses it for personalized workouts. Every morning when you got to do your workout, you click on Brittany's card. Luke, you guys have met Luke. He uses it for his CHL gun classes. Yeah. I have a gal that uses it, like you just said, she's a caterer. And so every week her menu changes. So you get to go on there and see, what's the new menu for this week that I might want to order. I mean, there is so many reasons to have saved the card to the home screen. So that's another one. But we came up with, so we still haven't talked about cloning. We still haven't talked about linking cards, and we thought there was another one, but now I'll add save to home screen. There's just so many, and again, they're little tips, they're little tricks, are all advanced, you know, you don't have to know these things to know shuffle, but when you learn the little tricks, right, that's when it really becomes even more fun and more exciting. And you're like, oh, I can think of another 50 ways I need to use this.
Well, Cathy, in my mind, it's like once you become a user, you're looking for better ways to efficiently use the technology. Like we can build cards one at a time, or to your point, we could clone an existing card to have a jump start in creating our next card, because maybe we like the existing layout, but we're going to change the text or change the images. Why build it from scratch when you learn the quick tip of cloning and whoop, you go straight into it?
Or you have a massive team. I mean, we've worked with so many network marketing teams that, or, you know, maybe you have an insurance team or a real estate team or whatever, that, you know, leader has built a card that they want everyone to have. And that just sweeps straight through the team with one easy clone.
Yep. Agree.
Yeah. So I'll add that to my list, but there's always something else, right? There's always these little things that we've come up with, you know, using it for so long that I'm like, oh, we got to train that. Ooh, we got to train that. So I was like, all right, honey, I was like, well, you know, I told Chris, I was like, I'm going to have to add one more Wednesday.
Well, I think this is a good opportunity to give a call to action for anybody who might ever watch or see this, that if you want to know how to on something, right? A little, how do I do this? How do I do that? We're all ears. We want to know what you want to know, and we can either direct you to a training we've done in the past, or we can do a new training on that. And Cathy, to your point, in the end, our goal is to have a lot of bite-sized chunk trainings that are consumable by everybody so that they actually consume them and put them into action. I think typically when we do a long sort of discussion like we do here, the replay doesn't get watched as much because people don't want to sit down and watch an hour of us sort of enjoying time together and sharing ideas. But when they realize the value of that, they're gonna kick themselves and saying, why wasn't I on here enjoying each other's company and sharing ideas?
Well, and then you just made me think of like 5 other things: how to put your link on your email footer, how to put your QR code like you have on your Zoom screen, how to introduce somebody with an email link, you know, linking their name to their business card on an email, which I do for, you know, with you and Guy all the time. I mean, there's just so many little things. And I mean, it's like, you just take that $20 a month and you squeeze every penny out of it because you don't need all these other applications because you can do it right here with us. I love it.
I am, and Anna, we'll get to you in 1 second, but I am sick and tired of companies charging $100 a month and people only squeezing $10 out of it.
Yeah.
Like, think about that, right? Especially in today's economy. We're all business owners here, entrepreneurs. We're all working towards something. We want to maximize our dollar. We want to stretch our budget. And that's why we don't focus on, you know, squeezing more out of the customer, but wanting our customer to squeeze more value out of what they're getting. You know, I think Shuffle hands down is a $100 solution that you get for a fraction of the cost. And even when you get it for that fraction of the cost, we want you to squeeze every cent out of that, because that's going to have an impact and create an ROI for you and you reaching your goals in your business. So Anna, thank you so much for your patience. Go ahead.
I just wanted to thank Cathy Inman for mentioning, you know, I take a look at my card, give me some feedback, because yeah, you can, all I want is for them to see it, to see what it is, click on some buttons. That's all I want, because then they're going to ask the questions. So thank you for that, because, you know, you can send an email or a text out to 10 people a day and say, by the way, check this out. Now, you know, I'm looking for my best, you know, people that I admire and respect their opinion. I want you to just give me a little feedback on this card and have at it.
Yeah, that's a strong message right there.
There's no sales to that. It's helped me.
Yep.
I mean,
and you added, I respect your opinion. I mean, that's a very genuine, you know, conversation.
I'm edifying the Elify. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a strategy to all that. To Anna and Cathy, your point, the way you phrased that question, asking somebody for help or an opinion is a really strong thing, guys, that a lot of us don't take advantage of. You know, hey, can I get your insight on this? Can I get your opinion on this? People love to give their opinions, guys, right? If somebody's asked you for your opinion, you'd probably gladly share it.
There's whole companies built around that.
Exactly.
You don't get paid for your
Exactly. But it opens their mind because they're reaching out to help rather than pulling in to protect.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that goes right along with, all the lead captures. And every time we've talked about that, and how many questions are you going to ask? And, we had somebody that asked us to look at a card the other day, and I don't remember how many questions there were, but every single one of them, I think there was 15 or 20 of them, and every one of them was mandatory. And I'm like, I know these have a time and a place, but I would just be leery to be careful about how much you insist someone give you, right?
Best practices.
Exactly.
Best
And
practices.
you want to leave them the space to make the appointment. All you want is for them to make an appointment or make a call to you, touch base with you. That's all you really want.
Right?
That's
it.
About this,
Give me a couple of information. You taught us that standard business card. I didn't even know it existed. And I went in there and built a Let's Connect. And
Yep.
it's just hopping.
Yep.
It's just
I love
hopping.
that.
Everybody's cooking stuff.
Well, and I think we also can't lose sight of this. This is a trap I see a lot of business owners, entrepreneurs, salespeople fall into. It's the trap of one and done. We desire to, we hope and pray to fall into that prospect list where I send them one piece of information and they buy from me.
Yep.
And everybody's looking for that. You ask people what they want more leads because they want new people to be one and done with. And they're just chasing for the one and done when we've talked so long and so often about the relationship and how important the relationship is. And this digital presence that you're creating in Shuffle and these landing pages that you create and your digital cards, these are all components of ongoing interaction. They support your customer in making an informed buying decision. If you've listened to Mindset of a Champion, they help you build that bridge for your customer to say yes. They help you stay in touch with your customer. All of these play a role, and we have to be more focused on those 5 to 12 interactions. The only reason I say 5 to 12, it's just build a relationship, guys. Share information, follow up with people, share more information, continue down that process. Every interaction is another bringing you up top of mind.
Yep. Yeah, 100%, right? Half the time, and Ruben, I know you network all the time too. It's like, it's not even what happens during the networking meeting, right? It's what happens after, when you just walk up to somebody and be like, hey, how's it going? I haven't talked to you in a couple of weeks, or, haven't seen you around. Have you, were you on vacation last week? Or whatever it is, you just strike up a conversation about something. Even if it's somebody like that I see every week, some of my groups are so big, you don't get to talk with everybody every time. Yeah. And so I can't tell you how many times somebody goes, I've been meaning to talk to you. I know I really got to get that Shuffle thing started. Hey, great. Let's go. Okay, let's put it on the calendar.
Yep.
So those 5 to 12 times doesn't have to be formal, sit down,
They're touches.
They're touch points. They're touch points.
How are you doing? How's it going?
Counts.
Having a good day? That's
me
it.
Again.
Yep.
It's me again.
Yep.
Here I am. Anything you guys are trying to do? Let's see if there's any questions, anything that came up from 102, 101. I know I still have to get them up there. Ruben's very good about making sure that he's doing his little touches. Hey, Cathy, have we got those yet? He's very helpful, keeps me on my toes. Don't have to be perfect. Just good. I just need them.
Love you, Cathy. Love you.
Anything you guys are trying to do, trying to make questions, we can help with you, anything. We're going to do that deep dive tomorrow. We're going to talk about the desktop builder. We'll go through each section, what you can do in there. Make sure everybody knows how to build in that builder. I know that, again, to me, so tomorrow night, we're really going to talk about landing pages. We're going to talk about how to build a landing page versus a business card. And then we'll add another Wednesday in and we'll do some more fun stuff. Because it never ends. There's always something. Yeah, Anna.
I'm back again.
No worries. Be part of the
I
conversation.
did have a question.
Mhm.
And this, I may have written it down awkward, but well, if I scan the QR code and shuffle in the shuffle app,
Mhm.
it goes to a half-finished card. It does, yeah. And if I just go to the little shuffle.
So you're using
QR
the
code
scanner
thing,
in Shuffle?
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Are you using the scanner in Shuffle?
I'm using the QR code up in the corner, up the left-hand
Okay.
corner.
And you're scanning a
Right.
non-shuffle or a shuffle?
So Anna, what you're talking about is when you scan a card, it ends up like this, right? Just sort of looks like a half card here. It doesn't show the whole card. Is that what you're talking about? Because I just scanned your QR code using the
like-
QR scanner in Shuffle.
It's like missing letters and stuff. It's like I'm not even sure what card I'm looking at. And
Interesting.
yeah,
Does it look like this screen, Anna? And I'm just going to hold this up. If you're viewing this and you're on gallery view, you might want to be on speaker view so you can see me nice and big. So Anna, what I did is I launched my Shuffle app. It's actually the Doug Demo app. I opened up the QR reader and I scanned your QR code that you have on your background. And it brought me to your Multipreneur Seek-Wise Council card that you have linked to the back of your thing. And this automatically puts it in my card index. And then if I want to view the card itself, there's actually a gear in the upper corner that allows me to view in the browser. So I want to make sure, and I can walk through that flow if anybody wants to have me go through on here sharing the phone screen.
Tell me what
That's great.
what card did you use to, what did you read with it, Anna? Let me ask you that.
Yeah.
Right.
we got all these shuffle announcements. I have to get out of the way.
No worries, because I'm doing the same thing that ER did. So I used the built-in scanner. I scanned your QR code.
Yep.
Let me try Mike's.
And while we're all going through this,
Out of yours.
yep.
It
Okay.
came
So
up okay?
it pops that one up, Anna. So the first thing it did is it put that card into your card index. So if anybody's seeing Anna's screen, it put the card that she scanned off of my QR code. Yep, she's holding it in front of her into her card index. There's a little gear icon up there as well, Anna, in the corner, upper corner. And when you click on that, you can actually view the card on the web. But the key here is what we're doing is we're using the QR scanner in Shuffle to scan Shuffle card QR codes because that will form the connection. If you scan a non-Shuffle QR code, Anna, it might say just open this in the browser. This is not an Elify card.
Okay. But it doesn't say that. It just, and I scanned the same QR code with Google Lens and it came up correct.
Was it a Shuffle card or was it a third-party card?
It's my card.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've got the card that you
Okay,
have
wait, I have a question.
open right now.
How did you use your built-in scanner to scan your own card? Was it a printout?
I did it on the screen.
On the
desktop screen.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Was it the one that we've all to scan, the one that you have up?
No.
Okay.
So
Do you want to pull that one up real quick?
Yeah.
You know, do you remember which one it went to?
yes, I do. Just a second here.
Okay.
Take your time. And then Brenda will jump over to you here in a little bit.
Yeah, and then Gary has a question on chat.
Yep, I saw that, Gary. I need help, and I've got your Columbia Vegfest up, and we can take a look at this.
All right, Mike, I don't know how we're not connected in Shuffle, but I just hit yours and I couldn't get it up either. So I had to friend request you.
Can I share screen for a minute?
Hold on. How do I do that?
You might have to make her a co-host.
There you go.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
You can see that QR code?
Yep, I've got that. In fact, if you hold it right there, I'll scan it again. I'll scan that one. And it popped it up for me, Seek-Wise Council. The only thing I might that might be causing an issue, Anna, is you using your Shuffle app to scan your own Shuffle cards. because they're in your cards and not your card index.
Okay, because yeah, it should be
Yep,
bringing up.
I just scanned that one and it's popping up and working for me. So I think it's
No, that's not the card that's the card. That doesn't look like what you got up, does it?
this is the one I just scanned, and when I open it, it is the one that you're showing right now.
Because it's yours. If it's mine, if I'm doing it on my
It's like
stuff,
scanning your own card. You see where I'm coming from?
I got it. I got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
You guys all remember this moment. She got it.
Okay. And then Brenda, you've been waiting patiently. Go ahead. And then Gary, we'll get over to you. I've got your card up and we can talk through some of this. I think this is a good example if you don't mind us sharing. We'll hit that right after Brenda.
Hello, everyone. How you guys doing? I have
Awesome.
a question. I know we did some upgrades and I was building a card. So on the upgrade, we added another link for products. Okay, and then we also added where when you are making a bullet, where the link is, if you hit that link, it brings up all my links, you know. Is that new too? It brings up all the links that I have attached to my other cards.
Possibly. I would have to have you share screen and walk us through, Brenda, and it might, I don't know if now is the place to do that, or if it's better
I
to
can do it tomorrow.
on one.
I can do it tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, let's dig into that. I want to make sure I know, and when we're on the same page of what you're talking about, I do know that like you've got libraries of images that when you're building, you can grab
Right.
from. They might have added where you have your library of links and other things you've used in the past. Also, be aware, if you're building on the desktop and you're using a browser, sometimes the browser like Chrome will pre-populate stuff when I'm typing in to certain fields. So it
Well,
might
no,
not.
this was the mobile, and I was messing with it. And it wasn't working for me. Like if you select picture or logo,
Yeah.
I was trying to put them in. I said, "Oh, they got product here." It was like it wasn't going in there. I guess no, it's just a product. So, but anyway, I'll play with it again.
Yeah, I would say let's connect and I can dig into it with you, and then we can go in detail of like, oh yeah, that's new, or that's
Yeah, I found some new stuff. So you don't know all the upgrades, what was added to the upgrade?
Yes and no. So to give everybody a bit of perspective, Guy and I spend our time split between two applications. Everything you guys see, and then everything we're working on in the background. And in fact, if I'm being truthful, it's three applications, because there's the version 2, everything you guys see, the upgrades for version 2, and then a version 3 that we're working at in the background. And every time we make changes and push stuff up, elements of that version 2 upgrade come in, but not all of them, because some of them are still being tested and flushed out. So I typically get an update from our development team. These are the new changes that we made. I know one of those, as I mentioned at the beginning of this call, was annual billing option. Just from a payment standpoint, we've had a lot of requests, and we've even put it in there where if you do annual billing, you pay for 10 months and you get 2 months free. So again, another incentive for anybody who knows they're going to be on Elify for a long period of time and using this to invest in saving that amount. If you're paying $20 a month, that's $40 in total savings just right out of the gate.
Okay,
but
hold on.
there are other elements that we pushed along with that, and I'll get that list. That we'll probably talk more about it on Friday with the founders.
I have a question. So you're talking about building a mobile card.
Yes.
Did you? Okay. And so what happened was you saw that you can add a photo and a logo and a
It
product
has
logo.
it has 3 features. It has let me pull it up. It has the photo,
Mhm.
logo, and products.
Yes.
Yep.
So
Okay.
that is a feature on some cards, which is
Yep.
maybe why you hadn't seen it before.
It
Yeah.
was on the template 18.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Any template that has the carousel of product images, what you'll see is a box, arrows on each side, and the little dots underneath. And you can upload multiple images there. And what it'll also do is if you've had or added images in the past that were related to that, it will save those to your image library in Shuffle and allow you to grab them a bit more quickly.
So Cathy, go down where you can add a bullet and click link. I don't know when I clicked it, it showed all my links that I had on my cards. I was like, oh, that's different.
Okay, hold on. I gotta find 18. Because you have to go to them to
And if
see
you want to
them.
share your screen, Cathy, then we can all sort of follow along.
Kathy's favorite, 18.
But you're on
Most
mobile, right?
of the standard
Mobile.
templates are universally going to be the same, and they're all sort of based off that Core 18 layout.
Okay, so here's what I'm looking at.
Are you there, Cathy? It's still saying it's trying.
There
to
we
share.
go.
There we go.
Okay, so I'm on template 18. You can see at the top. So I scroll down. So there's a photo. So that's where you could do a headshot or a picture.
Yep.
Then you scroll down, you can see a logo.
Oh, yep. There's your
And then
product.
there's your product photos. And you can manage those. So if you have some that are already saved, you can go in and see the ones that you've already used before.
Yep.
And then links. So yours was different, Brenda. Yours was already here. Is that right? When you went to links, you're saying that your links were already here?
No, when you click the links, I have this, it showed all the links that I have with all my other cards.
Okay.
Interesting. That sounds like more of a glitch than.
Okay, wow, that's what I was like.
Or it could have been a browser thing. But I would say, Brenda, I'd be happy to jump on and explore that, because again, our goal is to make things easier to use. And it sounds like it's handy to have your links accessible and just grab one and use that.
Yeah, and it was on a promo card.
Okay.
Interesting. Yeah. So let's look at that. We'll have to dig into what that is. And then let me stop here. You said you have Gary's card up, ER?
And if anybody wants to follow along on their own screen, Gary, you posted this in the chat as the last thing. If you don't mind, I'm going to share it and we can speak to some of these things. Okay. And the big thing here I want to talk about is some constructive criticism as we look to improve or give feedback to Gary on his card. Okay. And like Cathy mentioned at the beginning of the call, Gary, the first question I would ask is, what is your goal with this card?
Okay, I was going to a vendor event, and it's actually a link to every individual vendor that I made up also.
Yep.
It is one for the whole vendor event profile.
Yep.
Can you scroll down, ER?
Yep. So the first thing I'm seeing on here, and this is why I want to call this stuff out and we should all be aware of it. First, we are looking at this card on our computer screen, which is a different view than looking at your card on your phone. So be aware when you're testing that you want to take a look at how your card displays in both areas. Okay. The second thing I want to call out, these are these best practice tips as we lay out our cards and build cards, is you can see that this card scrolls, and Cathy's already asked me to scroll down on the card. But what we want to look at is what's above the fold. That's the saying. Above the fold is when somebody opens this card, this is the first thing they're going to see. And based on what they're seeing is going to dictate whether they continue to stay on the card, whether they click on something on the card, or whether they leave the card entirely. So the things that are jumping out to me here is the visual, right? Your Columbia Vegfest. We're so excited to announce it. The date, the time, the location, all of that type of stuff. Heck, I would even consider making this a button or a hyperlink to a maps type of thing. There's probably a Google Maps link we could do on here. Why you should come, and then you've got these great bullet points. One thing I would suggest, your layout is white on white, very clean. But take or consider that you could break some of this text up. And what I'd recommend is sometimes when we have one big long text field, you should clone that element, break it into two, and then you can do different things with the text fields. And why I say that is why you should come. I would consider doing like a different background color so that bounces off a little bit more and it separates it from the date and the location versus the reasons why they should attend. Okay. The other thing is there any type of call to action? Do they need to register for the event or learn more? Consider when to put those buttons on the card for them to make that call to action. I haven't scrolled down far enough to see if there is a button on the card, but I think there are a few buttons, guys. And then this is the other thing. here's at Elify Business, we partnered with Columbia Vegfest to bring you digital business cards. Okay, so the question becomes, again, are you selling digital business cards? Are you selling tickets to the Vegfest? Let's focus on accomplishing one goal at a time. And if we need to accomplish multiple goals, we can have multiple cards to potentially send to that audience. And then this year's presenting sponsor, we start to go into there, and then you've got the link out to that. I think that's really good. Again, I would try to break up the sections either by outlines, borders, or colored backgrounds just to make things pop. Because as an eye scrolls on here, even though when we build our cards, will read verbatim everything we put down, we have to understand that we have to put the hat, or we have to be in the shoes of the visitor and what we think they're going to see. They're going to be skimming, right? So they're skimming, they're catching little bullet points. Those are easy and consumable. But the moment you start to get to text copy, paragraphs, and things like that, they're pretty much skimming. And I like how you break it up with different colored buttons that are specific to the section above. The only thing I would recommend is potentially putting a border around that section to collect it all together, okay? Please be sure to stop by and visit our sponsors and thank them for your support. And this might just be the nature of the beast, is you have to include every sponsor link. But for those of you who are viewing this for the first time, this is a lot of information to provide to people with a lot of links. And we want to make sure, one, are all these links necessary? Two, do you have any prioritization of links? Because as somebody starts scrolling on here, the likelihood that they're looking for something specific, then you have this, please thank these vendors and support them, a whole nother section. Is just the way we might break this up, Gary, a little bit. Because there are a lot of buttons on here, which is great. But think about how much scrolling your person has to do once they get into the button section before they see what's below the buttons. And when I talk about prioritizing the content, is the priority to go to the sponsors first, or is it to learn some of this information or learn about this? I mean, again, depending on what content you want on the card, I would say I wouldn't necessarily solicit the Elify Shuffle along with the Vegfest at the same time. I would do two separate cards for it and let the people come to you and say, wow, I love that Vegfest card. How did you do that? Oh, well, here, let me send you a card about Elify, and you can learn about the Shuffle landing pages that I used to build this. I don't know if there's any other feedback, but that's just sort of the top level from me, Gary. Again, a great card, and those modifications in the editor could probably be made pretty quickly. You would not need to recreate this card at all, just sort of make some adjustments, if you will. Anna, did you get your hand raised with some additional comments?
Yes.
Scroll all the way down to the bottom to the link for my affiliate page, where that's not working properly. All the others work, but that's still, whenever you go to sign up, that's still coming up 404 error. Okay,
I mean, I'm getting it right here. Here's the thing. You're going to Elify, and you probably want to go to elifyshuffle.com.
Right, that's what's in the thing and everything.
Okay, that's one thing I would triple check on, is that link right there, Gary, is the one we want. And this is the one that's displaying. I can see it in the bottom lower left-hand corner. It's just elify.com. So you may want to just update that. Also be aware, on some of the templates, there are multiple links, the text links, the button links, the icon links. So you may have an old link in there. So you want to make sure you clear out any of the links and use the same link in all of those areas.
Well, on all my pages for the different accounts I have, they were working before the upgrade.
Okay.
And every one of the affiliate links come up error 404.
Okay, I'm clicking on them, and this might have been because of the system maintenance yesterday. We had a lot of 404s, but this one looks good. Let's discover
The
Shuffle.
affiliate page right now.
Yep, that's what you're getting. I got you. Okay, I'll talk to development about this one, Gary, and I'm going to save your card and show it to them, and I'll ask them about that 404. In the meantime, I would directly update that link to be your Elify Shuffle link. And then it'll go there and they don't have to go through that round trip.
All right.
And if you want to reach out to me personally, I put my card in the chat. I'd be happy to jump on and help you on the card itself.
All right, I appreciate that.
Yeah, happy to help.
Anna had some feedback too, I think.
Oh yeah, let me pull the card back up.
If we can scroll to the middle of the card. Little up, little up, little up. Okay, right here. Okay, first of all, this is the color coding for Vegfest. When you're talking about Elify, you should have that in a totally different color because people are going to see that as a different thing.
Mhm.
And I'd use a teal, but that's me. Anything that has to do with Elify should be in a different color. When you're saying be sure to stop and visit our sponsors, are you including their links in this list?
Oh, it looks like you have a different shuffle card for every one of them.
Do you? Gary?
Click on one of them, ER. What does it go to?
Yep, so we're gonna go to the Wild Earth one right here. Wow, this is
So you
great.
need to tell people to click on them individually to see the information for that vendor.
Wow.
Otherwise, it's just a list.
Yep. I mean,
If the
other
people, yeah, if they don't know.
logo right here, you could always shrink that down and put those in between each one, like the logo and the link, the logo and the link.
It's a beautiful card. Well done. I saved it.
That
because-
is that is amazing.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work.
A ton of work, Gary. Huge
I put
kudos to
probably
you.
about
The fact
40
that
hours
each case has a
in.
separate card is amazing.
I bet you did.
And do you have your biggest sponsors at the top?
Well, I'm still talking to them more about it though at the event. I told them about what I was doing volunteering, but they gotta know when then I've
Yep.
talked to them more.
Yeah.
Their button, the Cotton Branch Farm Animal Sanctuary, their button should reflect their colors, that blue.
Yep.
Have you
Love it.
so the fact that I'm blown away, the fact that you made a card for every one of these
Everybody.
companies and every one of these vendors, have you offered them their QR code for the event so that
Yeah.
they can use that? I mean, I'm just blown away at the amount of work on this card.
And Cathy, to your point, each one of these links, Gary, that you put together, I'm looking is a campaign link and has a corresponding QR code. So you could literally gift that QR code to all of the sponsors that are coming to the event. And that could open up the door to having the conversation to say, look, if you'd like this card as your own, I can help set that up for you.
Right, that's what I was talking to them about, because very few of them had the QR code. And I told them with this system, you can make an evergreen. As
Yeah.
long as you don't delete the card, you can change whatever information you want anytime and send it out.
Yeah, this is amazing. Kudos to Gary. This is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Did an amazing job, but I
Well,
did notice
thank
that the
you.
information with your name and your background, all that at the bottom there, I noticed that that's in much better lettering, much more legible lettering than the information at the top. And since it's their event, you want it to be,
Well, but I think it's their event, but I think he's done all this work for them. So it's the
Right.
give, right?
Yep.
Right.
just tell them you could approve it.
Yeah.
You know, just tell them this is a rough draft.
That's
what I
amazing.
think. Like, hey, I built this card for you. Take a look at it. Let me know if there's anything you want me to change, and I can help you use this at the event with a QR code. Because this is, I mean, their cards are already built and you already have campaigns for them. You could just print out those QR codes or even just download them and share them out to those people.
Right, and see with this vendor event, they have them in 3 or 4 different states. They got 12 or 13 total for the year.
Yep. And then all you're talking about is, look, you could clone this card and replace the event and then just modify or hide who the sponsors are based on who's there.
Right,
Yeah, have that at the front gate. I mean, you have QR codes right there when you check it. ER is just, he's salivating because he's a
I am.
vegetarian.
Like, I'm
I'm
thinking if
just-
there, guys,
I'm like, I
there are
wanna be
so many
there.
different events. Think
There
about Dash, like if you're hosting an event and they have different booth numbers, Dash, booth 15, Dash, booth 23, Dash. I mean, this is.
And then you
what-
have a link, have a card that links to the map.
Yep.
Map of the event, that all of that type of stuff. If you haven't shared this with the hosts of the event, whoever's putting on the Columbia Vegfest, man, I'd show them this as well.
Right, I showed it to them at the event, plus I sent it to them about 3 days before, because that's whenever I found out about it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Tuesday, did you have feedback or do you have another question?
I have feedback. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Yeah, this is honestly, this is astounding. Gave me ideas based on events too with the feedback. The only thing I was going to ask about, I don't see on the bottom of the card where it will usually say save the card so we can have it or to keep
David,
it.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he made this more like a landing page than a
Okay.
business card. So he does not have that offer
Okay,
for the people to save it or share it. You can take
Cool.
that off your cards if you want to, like on my landing pages, I don't put those on there.
okay. So this
So
is
if
like
you,
the landing page for
yeah,
this.
so
Okay.
if you want to get a hold of that card, I'd ask connect with Gary offline on
Mhm.
Shuffle and then ask him if he can.
Well, I'm
It's
gonna have
fine.
to tell you.
I just like the
Kathy-
idea. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to know,
Yeah,
but that's
turned
the
out
difference.
great, Gary.
Okay,
Kathy,
thank you.
sorry. That was the card that I asked you a while back with the dot, polka dot and all.
Yep.
That's the way I changed it up.
No, it's fantastic. Yeah. So I use a shuffle card for all the affiliate links to my members in my networking group. And so it has 50 some odd, 60 now some odd links on it. And Gary's like, hey, can I use that? I was like, yeah, absolutely. So I'm excited because I'm looking at this going like, oh, I know what happened with that now.
What we've evolved into. And I think that's a testament to the cloning that you're going to cover in a later training. Because
Yeah, but
there-
I'll tell you what, Gary, I didn't
effort
make all
to-
those people a card. I mean, this
Right.
is like, whew,
I
I'm
mean, you
telling
literally just
astonishing.
created a demo card for every single sponsor at the event. I would be sharing that with every one of them. Hey, just so people have information or can connect with you at the event. I can add it or update it or get this so that you can control it. Is pretty powerful.
yeah, I mean, you got 50 people
They
there
have a
that you can go.
newsletter. They have a newsletter. All these QR codes can go to the newsletter.
Yep.
I'm actually signed up for the newsletter already. And I'm going to send them a note saying, Gary showed me a sample digital card of what you have to offer this year.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about coming out next year.
Yep. Yeah.
I'd love to go to this.
I know. Me too. Me too. I'm like, are they gonna be in Colorado? This is cool.
ER's over there getting hungry.
Yeah.
I'm a vegetarian, so this is right up my alley.
Right,
That was the one about meat, veggie.
right, vegan eating.
Because
Yeah.
I know that you can make certain meats with vegetables only.
Yep.
A company out of Michigan that does it, they're so good. Even their pastrami is good.
One last thing I want to call out on this card, okay? And again, there are lots of different paths to go down, and there is no right or wrong path. This is what I would call more of an endless scrolling card layout, okay? Which just means it has a long scroll to it. And I think it works in this situation. Again, what I love, and this is crazy, Gary, this is awesome, is it's going to individual campaign links for every single one of these things. So Gary, in essence, has created the microsite that we've trained on before, and he's taken it to the power of 10, as we can see here. Another example of this, Gary, is let's say they're promoting Vegfest and trying to get people to come. Not necessarily the people who are at the event, maybe scanning this to look at who's there or what booth they're at. You could have a page that's just the upper portion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's where it's at, when it's at, and a map to get there. Here is why you should come, and here's where you should buy your tickets. Okay.
And ER, you can do a link that says, here's a link to last year's vendor. Oh, I said it for you. Sorry.
That is exactly it. You guys are tracking along, right? And then you could have a separate card, and you just clone this card and keep the top portion, remove the bottom on one, keep the bottom portion and remove the top on the other, and then link them to where it would be like, okay, just the top of this card is all about the event, where the event is at, how to get your tickets, and how to map to the event. And then there's subtle calls to action that's like, learn about this year's sponsor. You maybe it also includes the primary sponsor, and then underneath that, like visit the other sponsors page, and that opens up your sponsors card, and that would just break it down a little bit more. But I think having it all on one card works just as well. It's just there's a lot of sponsors at this event. That's awesome.
Well, and I like how some of them are highlighted with different colors, like to y'all's point, using color, maybe that's a main sponsor, or maybe it's,
Yep,
whatever,
gold
something.
sponsor, bronze sponsor, silver sponsors, breaking that up and sort of prioritizing them is a good thing, right? And obviously the higher sponsorship level, they're higher up on the card because somebody's going to scroll and get to them sooner, that type of stuff.
Yeah, that card is phenomenal.
Great work, Gary.
It's mind-boggling, Gary.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, this looks awesome. Okay, any other thoughts or questions, Gary, that you might have from us or anybody else on the call?
That's all for now. Like I say, on all my different pages though, the affiliate link won't work on none of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that the affiliate.elify.com I think is 504 right now too, or 404 or something.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
It was coming up 2001 for my new payment and everything.
Okay.
Well, I hate to say all of them were like $10.
Yeah.
I just saw that from another person. So what happened? Did you get alerted to that?
No, it just come up after they upgraded and everything.
On
It
which
changed
there
the
was
payment.
a penny change, guys, on there where we were rounding from $9.99 to 10. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, mine used to be $10 and it come up 2001 now.
Okay, reach out to me or to support at Elify if that happened, Gary. We're going to get that resolved.
Okay.
That shouldn't have happened at all. It should still be whatever it was.
If it's the same thing that just happened, Guy and I just saw this on somebody else's. It's the billing page says it's another number, but the Braintree is correct.
Yes,
But
they
Gary,
updated that last night. They did update that last night, but I think there are still some latent things on here. And Gary, I will look into this affiliate link 404 for you, and we'll get that resolved.
Thank you.
Yeah, Gary, if you'll put a quick note into support at Elify, just so that we have that notated on the billing part, just hey, remember I mentioned this on the call, that'll just ping our development team we'll look at that.
Yep.
All right, thank
Because I need to see if there's a history, like if that starts coming in from more and more people, that'll help us see where that problem is.
Exactly.
That would be great. All right, guys, I know we kept you long. It's good to see everybody. I will see everyone tomorrow night that wants to do deep dive into desktop. And we'll build a landing page, and then we'll just keep on keeping on. Right now, everybody just do a little rain dance because it's like thundering at my house, but it's not raining, but I sure could use it.
Right.
So you guys have a great week. Enjoy the rest of it. We'll see you tomorrow night,
And
Thursday, Friday, all the good stuff. Y'all have a good week.
one quick question.
Yeah.
What time is the call tomorrow morning at 11?
Tomorrow is Wednesday.
So
No,
tomorrow is Wednesday. It's only going to be Cathy's training. We
7
will get
p.m.
a post out. We do have an 11 Mountain Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time influencer call live that we're starting to do on a different group. I'm getting things updated, and we'll get that broadcast out to everybody.
Right. Yeah, that's the one I was talking about.
Okay,
Sorry.
yeah, I need to grab that information. I'm not the one who hosts that Zoom. Danielle does on our influencer side. So I'll get that from her, and I'll get it posted on the social groups.
Awesome. All right. All right. Thanks.
Thanks,
Bye,
everybody. Care.
Yes, Shelly, send me some rain. Send me some rain.
Bye, Cathy.
On it. Bye, everybody.